And we're live! Woohoo! Well, welcome along to the live stream, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me. For those that don't know me, hello! My name's Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV, and this is Adorama TV Live. Unless you're watching the recording, in which case it's Adorama Live, the recording. I mean, it still works either way. Thank you for joining me. Thanks very much for coming along. I'm going to do something slightly off script. Huge thanks for Seth. This wouldn't have happened without Seth. Well done. So thank you very much. I don't know if anyone's joining us today. If you are, say hello in the comments. That would be nice. Say where you're watching from. I'm here in my small home studio, but I'm not here on my own. I've got an awesome model, but you'll find out about that in a second. I've got Freya on the super switcher, doing all the switching and technical bits. And then I got Sam on the comments. You can't see her, but you can hear her.
You can hear me. Hey everyone. Everyone's very excited. We've got some nice new first time watchers. I've got Chris here. It says first time watching live. And then he said, when it starts. Yeah, good. We're here.
We are here. We made it.
We've got New Zealand, which apparently is the morning in New Zealand. So good morning. It's 7 in the evening here in the UK. My sister-in-law, Carrie, is on there. Hey. Sweden, Washington, Norfolk, Texas. Oh,
wow, everywhere.
Yeah, Peru.
Peru, yeah. That's quite, I don't think we had Peru before.
Oh, we have Chile, Canada.
Okay.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. Great to see where you're all from. Put your comments in and enjoy.
Smash in. Right, let's get cracking then. So if you have got any questions as we go along, if they're relevant to what we're talking about or just interesting, Sam will fire them across to me. So do stick your comments in the chat. If you're watching the recording, stick your comments in the comments and questions in the comments. So what are we going to be doing today? We're doing budget lighting pro results. I wish I hadn't called it that now. Budget lighting, quite good photography. Let's go with that because that's more me. So the budget lighting side of things, I've got a kit of lighting. Lighting kits are really good. They're a great way to get going. I mean, it's already falling apart. Get going in studio photography without breaking the bank. You get a whole bunch of stuff, which is really good. You'll find when you use a kit, you don't get everything you need, but you get enough to get you going. So huge shout out to Flashpoint and Glow for putting me this kit together. And they let me choose. I've chosen a kit of stuff and I'll explain what we've got as we go through. So first of all, this is a 3-light kit. So I'm going to roughly go through what I get, just so you know the technical stuff before we get to the fun stuff. You get a couple of softboxes. I should get them out really, shouldn't I? You get a couple of useful softboxes. So they're 2 foot by 3 foot or 60 by 90 centimeter softboxes. They come with a grid. Just pop that over there. Come back to that later. And we'll just stick one together for now. Yep, there's a little zippy thing. I'll come round. Little zippy thing. Open the zippy thing. If you're in the market for a softbox, doesn't matter which softbox you get, make sure you get one that does that. If it takes any longer to put together than that, you're not going to bother. So good softbox to start with, and that's actually what I really recommend as a starting softbox. A 2 foot by 3 foot is a great softbox to begin with. So you get a couple of those. We'll open the other one up as well. Also comes with a grid. Excellent. Comes with a bag. The bags are important. The bags are what your kit lives in. So it's a soft bag. I would have liked a hard bag, but this is budget lighting. It's budget kit, and there are some compromises that have been made, bag being one of them. But I can live with that, that's great. Okay, so 2 soft boxes, great start. What else do we get in the kit? We get a silver umbrella. I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to use it. I like silver umbrellas, but this kit misses something that really makes this a usable piece of kit, so I'll put that out of the way for another day. Because like all kits, you don't get to use everything straight out the kit. You'll use it over time. And that's one of those things you can come back to. What about the lights? The lights are the BLAZ lights from Flashpoint. So these are 300 watt second lights. These are what we're going to use for the rest of the demo. Flashpoint BLAZ 300. Okay, they are mains powered, which has thrown up a few interesting quirks because these are 110 volt mains power, which is brilliant when I'm on 240 volts, but we'll talk about that as we go through. And that's pretty much all you need to know about them. They are basic lights. They come with some cables and they come with a storage bag, and it's a really good storage bag. I don't know. I've got a sneaky feeling that these lights might be from Godox. There's a question, I'll come to it in a second. I've just got this little kind of sneaky idea that they might be Godox lights. I don't know what gives me that idea. It's just a feeling that I have, which is a good thing because they're a great make. Yes, question, Sam.
So we have a question from Matt. Do you prefer rectangular softboxes or circular?
Yep,
And
I
why?
prefer them both. I swing between the two. So rectangular softboxes are really practical because you can have them in different orientations, and you'll see me use them in different ways as we go through this hour session. Octagonal ones give nicer catch lights, but honestly, it's only us photographers who really get hung up on the shape of catch lights. My clients have never really worried about the shape of catch lights. So yeah, if I was starting out today, I would go for a rectangular one. If you only bought one, and then move on when you find you want a different shape catch light. Good question, mate. Comes with some light stands as well, 3 light stands, and these are reasonably rugged light stands. They're not the biggest bases in the world. They're air cushioned, which is nice. Let's do it over here so you can see what's going on. And we'll just stick one together. So I'm going to put one light together and we'll take photos with a single light source. We'll just tidy all this away. Eeny meeny, let's grab this one. Here we go. And see how quickly we can set this up. Because if it is a kit, there's a high chance it's not going to be left set up in your home studio. It's going to be broken down. So it's good to see how easy you can set things up and how quickly and simple it is to do that. Right, I need a softbox. And we'll pop the light on the softbox.
I'm just going to read this question.
Go for it.
It's Seth. Who let Gavin on here? Thank you, Seth.
Yeah, well done. Okay, rectangular softbox, check. Let's make it a little bit higher. Check. Get that nice and tight. So these light stands go up 2.7 meters, which I think is about 8 feet, 9 feet maybe. So they're not the tallest of light stands, but they're good enough for what we need. What I found in my early days was when I had a kit of lighting, and that is how I started. It was a good place to begin, but I quickly wanted to update and improve a few bits and pieces. But you've got to start somewhere, and kits are a great place to start. Okay, so let's pop that in there, tighten that all up, and plug it in. Now, it comes with mains power. Well, it comes with mains power cables. Obviously, you don't get mains power. At the bottom of the light stands, I've attached the little Velcro cable. This little Velcro cable here, you're supposed to put that around the cable for storage so it's all neat and tidy. But the kit doesn't come with sandbags, not surprisingly. So this is an alternative to a sandbag. Just tuck that through there, run it up the side and plug it in. Why? Which camera am I on? That one? That one, okay. Okay, let me show you why. So, if I pull this, I don't have to use a lot of effort and I can just pull it over. But because I've attached it down the bottom, when I trip on it, and I will, you can see the difference? It's just that little bit safer. So having it down the bottom means that when you do trip on it, it doesn't fall over or pull out the cable, in my case. There we go. So yeah, just attach them to the base of your light stands. Okay, this is where, when I turn this on, are we still on? Did we blow the fuses? Oh boy, that's such a good thing. Okay, here we go. We're good. Hooray! So we're 10 minutes in, and I finally got a light set up. That's pretty good going. I'll take that. So, a light set. Now we need a model. So, give it up for the awesome Sophie! Whoa! Sophie's going to be the model for this session, and have I got that camera a bit low?
No, we've talked about this. Soph is a giant.
There we go. I mean, that's better, isn't it? Yeah. Right, yeah, I felt really tall there for a bit. It was really unnerving. Very unnerving. So these are manual lights. You're not going to get any TTL, you're not going to get any high-speed sync. They are just manual lights. But what they do give you in the box is a transmitter. So you get this rather nice transmitter. I nearly said handy dandy and I stopped myself, so that was lucky. Sam tells me off if I do that. It's a rather nice little transmitter. I don't know which way up you want it. It is a single pin transmitter, also known as a dumb transmitter because it has no intelligent features, which means it will work on any camera. So if you upgrade your camera, you don't have to upgrade your transmitter. It's a very simple transmitter. It really is. I think I've already broken it. That's a good start. Oh, there we go. It doubles as a transmitter and a receiver, and I had it in the receive, not transmit position. Okay, so let's start with our flash at 1/16th power. If you're taking a picture, where do you start? 1/16th power. I want to see whether these lights can do what I would do with my more expensive lights. That's kind of the idea with this session. Can it replace and reproduce the light that I get from more expensive kit? Go on, Sam.
So Andy said, did I miss Gavin tell us a rough cost for the kit?
Andy, what a star. No, you didn't. You'll find links to all of the all of the gear I'm using in the video, in the live stream, in the description below. I think these are about $550 in that ballpark. These are the LED ones. They do an old-fashioned halogen or tungsten bulb version, which are a bit cheaper. Don't get those. Go with the LED ones. You'll thank me. It's worth the extra $50. Okay, so basically, the whole kit is less than one of my lights.
And also Ab's on. Do you want to say hi to Ab?
Ab, hey, really? Oh, Ab, you're not going to learn anything from this, honestly. Take the rest of the day off. It's fine. You'll just, thanks. Okay, so I'm going to position my light a little bit higher. So a go-to lighting position. If I'm just asked to do a very quick portrait, this is exactly where I put my light. As close to the subject as possible. The subject at the back end of the softbox, so the light can wrap around, and it's more or less at 90 degrees to them. It's a really simple light. I'm also going to change my settings. Hang on. Hang on. Here we go. I'm going to go with F8. We should do the most important picture. We've nearly forgotten. Most important picture. Here it comes. This one. You can pop that on the screen, Frey. There we go. No flash, no picture. Okay. I'm at F8, 250th of a second, my flash sync speed, and I'm at ISO 100. Okay, let's go back so they don't think the stream has crashed. Okay, flash back on, 1/16th power. Let's see what we get. Hey, that's not far off. That's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more light required. Okay, Sophie, here we go. And that'll do, there we go. Right, thanks very much for coming, Sophie. Thanks, everybody. I mean, it works, doesn't it? At the end of the day, that's what light does. It works or it doesn't work. Maybe just a touch bright, depends which screen you look at. But I think that's okay. It's an acceptable picture. If somebody wanted a nice, simple portrait, let's say in black and white, let's do it in black and white, then this works very, very nicely indeed. Okay, Sophie, here we go. Same thing again, black and white mode. Lovely, we'll do one more just so I can actually come a little closer, move my feet. Beautiful. Okay, look at that, fantastic. Pin sharp, lovely details. Catch lights, well, they're a matter of personal taste. But it works. $550. Yes, Sam?
So, Roman asked, are these strobes or video lights? Because you said LED, but isn't that usually for constant video light?
Brilliant question. Who was that? I didn't catch the name. Roman, huh, okay. Roman, very good question. These are definitely strobes. The LED is the modelling lamp, which I can switch off from the transmitter here. That's it, modelling lamp off, modelling lamp on. So the modelling lamp is LED. In olden flashes of this type, mains power, they were often light bulbs, which were very hot and, yeah, best avoided. They've replaced the light bulb with the LED, less hot, but does the same job.
Also, everyone's very happy that you've remembered to turn the light on. But you only forget when you put the light up much higher usually,
It's kind of tricky with the mains powered ones. It's actually harder to forget, so maybe I should actually use mains power. Sophie, go back against the background, because that's a black background, because Sophie is a fair distance away from it. And if you want to find out more about this stuff, we're going to do basic lighting in next month's live, I think. However, if I pop Sophie against the grey background, which is just savage grey, storm grey I think it is, you can have the same lighting on Sophie but with a darker background. One light, absolutely dead simple. And if you've got a kit of lighting, start with one light. Use one light until you run out of things to do with that light, then add in the second light. Even if you bought a kit of 3 lights, put the other 2 away just for a little bit and just use one. So that's okay. Let's make it a bit more interesting. Sophie, out you go. Here we go. Because I wanted to use everything that Adorama sent me, and I've got a very special background that you can only get if you order the stuff from Adorama. It is basically, hang on a second, I'm going to get it. It's the boxes. Okay, so I've got the packaging that this came in. I've stuck some together to make a little kind of, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it, a little stand. And we're going to stick this to the, I'm not sure which camera I'm going to be on. Oh, there we are. Suddenly realised I might not have put that on a camera. So I'm going to stick that to the grey paper. Is that straight and level? As you can see, I've taken great care, you probably can't see, but I've taken great care to cut this really neat, very sharp knife. At least as sharp as we're allowed in the UK, obviously. We're not allowed dangerous things. So that worked quite well. I've got another bit of glue tack I'm going to stick underneath, partly because I don't want it to fall off, but mostly because I want it just to step away. So I'm making a little standoff, just to stand this off the background, and we're going to use this just to frame the image, make it a bit more fine art than just a portrait. Yeah, looks pretty good. Let's make this a bit higher. There we go. Yeah, far away.
It's Vivek, and it's what I ask quite often. Why are you doing this?
I love that question. It's my favourite question because it's fun. Because not everybody can afford very expensive lights. You know, your pro photos, your bronze colours, even some of the Flashpoint stuff. When you get up to the really powerful lights, can be quite expensive. These lights come in less than the cost of one of those lights. And I want to see if I can do the same sort of images as I do the expensive stuff. And it's fun. I'm going back to that. Right, Sophie, you're going to come and stand here. Like that. So Sophie is going to stand in front of the background. Okay. We're going to do a very quick little educational bit. Brace yourself, this bit is educational. We try not to do those in the live streams. I'm going to do it anyway. Right, educational. Here we go, Sophie. I'm going to take a very bad picture of you. This is not going to be your next cover shot. Okay, so we'll see how the light goes. I'm going to come in really close, just a little that way for me. That's perfect. Okay. Yeah, whoa. Okay, that is, sound effects are optional. What do you think? Yeah? Really good? Okay, so we can see that Sophie is a lot larger than the rectangle of cardboard. That's because I'm using a wide angle lens, and we know that there's this thing called lens compression, where things sort of get bigger and smaller. At least, let me call it compression. Because if I come way back over here, and I take the same shot, but now I'm at the other end of my lens, so that was 12 millimeters, this is 40 millimeters, and you can see how Sophie has shrunk, okay, compared to the size of the background. So that's not lens compression. Anybody that tells you that is lens compression, you can have a little quiet snigger under your breath, because it doesn't really matter, but that is compression. And it's the distance that's compressing everything and making the perspective seem different. It's nothing to do with the lens. The lens is crop, distance, compresses. Far away.
So Basie said the edge of the box is used to feather the light. If you have a soft box that has a diffusion patch at the centre, would the edge still be the softer part?
Okay, yeah, that's another one of the, we should do some of those kind of things that aren't quite true. Because that's sort of true, but the edge isn't really softer. Softness is down to size. It's more diffuse, maybe. That's not the same thing. So the inner diffuser or the inner baffle will help to spread the light more evenly over the surface of your softbox. You could say, therefore, it makes it worse because you want a hot spot if you want to have a more of diffused background. The bottom line is this. Try it with and without, and you decide what you prefer. Don't let anyone on YouTube tell you what the right answer is. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm making it up. I have no idea. Okay, so we're going to do a few shots like this. Okay, Sophie, here we go. This is nice. Love this. How am I doing for time? 22. Wow. That flew by. Yeah, 20 past, not 22. 22 minutes past.
We'd all be panicking otherwise. There's another question.
Yeah, keep firing them away.
Bear with me because I've lost it now.
Okay, we'll keep taking a few photos.
There we go, I've got it. So Eddie asked, Gavin,
Yes.
that's you.
That's me.
Yeah. What makes the more expensive light better than the budget systems?
Okay, really good question. One more, Sophie. So what makes more expensive light better? Well, I mean, you could start with build quality. The build quality on these is fine. It's not going to last you a lifetime, and if you're dragging it around the streets of New York, that's something to be a lot more careful about. So it's not bomb-proof. You get a difference in build quality. There is a difference in some of the features. So there's no TTL here. There's no high-speed sync here. There's a difference in the technology inside. So normally with a more expensive flash, the shortest flash duration is the weakest power. With these, the shortest flash duration is the strongest power, and it's not particularly short. So there's a whole bunch of little subtle differences that add up. There's another one. This will only go down to 1/32nd power. That's the minimum power. That's going to trip us up in just a few minutes' time. We'll get back to that. Okay. I'm going to very quickly grab an image. And let's see where we are. Okay, we head over to my laptop. There you go. So we're going to do a very, very quick bit of processing on one of these images because these look good. Let's go with this one. And I'm just going to go grab a quick little action just to finish this off. So I thought it would look nice if I add a bit of texture to it. So I pre-made an action just to speed things along a little bit. And there you go. Bit of toning, a bit of texture. And now you've got something that feels very, very fine art-like. Yeah, very arty. Yeah, kind of looks good. We could have put a fill light in, we could have had a second light and put a fill light in, but time's eluding us a little bit. Okay. Right, if you're just joining us, welcome to the Adorama TV live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. We're doing budget lighting pro results, but the word pro is questionable. Budget lighting, fairly good photography. It was a longer title, it wouldn't fit on the thumbnail. Right, let's switch things around a little bit. So let's take this off before it falls down. Here we go. Smashing. So we've done really basic lighting, one light setup. Let's mix it up a little bit. Let's do a multi-light setup, and we're going to do shallow depth of field. Can these lights do shallow depth of field work? That's where the more expensive lights with their high-speed sync and low flash powers would run rings around these. Spoiler alert, yeah, of course we can. Of course we can. Just need to be a little bit more practical and think outside of the box. First thing I need to do is bring a more textured background in. It's kind of really... oh, yeah, that's it, Sophie. You know when you've got a good model is when they will help you do really awkward things like putting a background up. Yeah, smashing, there we go. So the plain background wouldn't really cut it because plain grey looks the same when it's in focus as when it's out of focus, really. Doesn't make any difference. So let's get a light and a stool for Sophie to sit on. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to switch this light off for now. And we're going to get a second light. Yeah, keep going with the questions, Sam.
Okay,
Keep them coming.
so Vic said, do these lights have a shelf life? In other words, if I don't use them for months at a time, will they still work?
Yeah, I would imagine so. I can't imagine that they wouldn't work. I mean, these are, when it comes to technology, these are tried and trusted, shall we say. These are not cutting edge. There's no lithium batteries. There's no high-end technology that's likely to go wrong. It's a capacitor, a flash tube, and an LED modelling lamp, and that's pretty much it. They are really basic. There's not much to go wrong with them. There really isn't. Will they last forever? Probably not. You'll outgrow them at some point, but these are fully compatible with things like the Explore 300, the Explore 600, the Evolve 200s. You can mix all of them into the same ecosystem, use the same transmitter. They are all integrated into the Flashpoint Godox system. Go on, Sam.
So Steve asked, how useful is a standard reflector in a lighting kit?
Steve, you read my mind. Honestly, what a brilliant question. Brilliant question. So this is a kit. It has an awful lot of things that you're absolutely going to need, like air-cushioned light stands, like power cables that are actually a decent length. I think these are about 5 meters long. It's got softboxes that are really useful. It doesn't have everything. And one of the things I would add, so the very first thing I would buy, actually it's probably a sandbag. After the sandbag would be a standard 7-inch reflector, grid, gel set, something like that, because they're not included. Weirdly, if you get the ones with the tungsten bulbs, you get a reflector in the kit. You get the LED ones, you don't get a reflector. Come on, Flashpoint, sort that out. So a reflector is definitely the first thing I would buy. So we're doing it without a reflector because there was no reflector in the box. And I don't want to cheat you guys. Could have done, I've got a whole cupboard full of them. Would have been easy. But that's not fair. Okay, let's plug that in. No, still haven't lost the power. Yeah, that's good. We're using a power converter to take the 110 voltage that this requires and make it plug into the 240 voltage that I have. It was a brilliant idea, but it keeps tripping all my fuses, so we're okay. So, light pointing at the background. Background with a bit of texture. Sophie, you're going to sit right there for me. And I'm going to grab my camera. Here we go. So we're going to start unusually. I would normally start with the key light, this light. But we're actually going to start with the background lights, and we'll have a little look and see how this works. So, background light is, I don't know, is it on B? Is it on C? We can have up to 5 different groups. So that's on its own separate group B. Okay, so I want to put this as low as it goes. 1 30-second power. So here's the thing. Now, we're all adults. I'm going to say this, and I expect no smirking, no sniggering, no children at the back here. But these have capacitors which store power. If you want to use them at a lower power than is stored, you need to do something called a power dump. To dump the power out of the capacitor, okay? That's what it's called. So I'm dumping the power, done, and now I can use my own power and it'll charge back up again. Okay, here we go. So, well, before we do, we should do a no flash, no picture shot, I forgot. And I should change my lens to something that can do shallow depth of field. Oh, this is slick, slick. Okay, so I've got a 1.2 lens. I'm going to work at f1.4 for that really smooth, blurry background. Let's do the no flash, no picture thing. Make sure that everything goes black and I've got full control of the lighting. Okay, Sophie, here we go. Okay, it's in black and white because I forgot to change it. Honestly, can't get the stuff. Here we go. Oh, and it's still on F8. Don't show any of these, Freya. No, don't show any of these. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Right. I'm just going to bring this around here so you guys can see that. We'll take that out in the edit. Okay. So I'm at ISO 100, which is down the bottom here somewhere at that end. I'm at f1.4, which is not quite wide open, but pretty close. And 250th of a second flash sync speed. This is very hard to do backwards. Okay, no flash should mean no picture. That's what we're trying to achieve, but actually what I get is this. So we've got quite a lot of ambient light contaminating my shot. But hey, let's imagine that I don't. Let's just turn the flash on and put it on its lowest power. Dump out the power, so we're definitely down to 1/32, as low as it goes. Here we go, Sophie. 1/32 power gives me this. That's just the background light. Just that, just the background light is bouncing off the background around my studio and hitting the front of Sophie. How is that possible? It's because I'm on f1.4, really wide open. I could change my ISO. It goes as low as ISO 80. Ooh. I was only on ISO 100. It's not going to make any difference really, but you could try that. So we need to get a way of making that background light less bright. How am I going to do it? What am I going to do to make that light less bright? It needs to be like loads less bright. Any thoughts in the comments? How? How do you make a light that is already as low as it can go even lower? There's a few ways. There are a couple of ways. But I only want to use, I was going to say the stuff that came in the kit, not quite actually. Okay. No high-speed sync. We don't have high-speed sync. I can't change the high-speed sync. No, change my shutter speed. All I'm going to do is cut out half the picture with the shutter mechanism. Have we got anything, Sam?
Yep, Matt said ND.
Yep.
Is that? I'm not sure if it's Misha or Mika. Gels or filters?
Yes. Good
Steve,
answer.
ND filter.
Oh goodness me!
Thomas, more distance.
No. You've got to say something like distance. Yeah, say something like distance or
shutter speed.
Yeah.
Gels.
Shutter speed won't do it. That's good. Yeah, can we have more like that? That's good.
NDs, increase aperture. Strainer, you like strainer?
Light strainer would definitely work. Wouldn't that be good? Sadly, they didn't put a light strainer in the kit. Imagine that. Prime opportunity for them to put a light strainer in the kit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I tell you what, there's a tip for, here we go. Look, this is the bit that comes with it. This is the bulb protector, even though it doesn't have a bulb. Come on, drill some holes in it. Come on, Flashpoint, you could be the first.
And Seth said, he didn't hear the question, but he'll say marshmallows.
Actually, that would work. Put some marshmallows on your flash tube, put the flash up to maximum brightness, and you will toast those marshmallows. Nom, 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 nom. Yes, please. We'll do that. Okay, so I'm going to be using an ND filter. And this is, if you saw the last live stream 3 weeks ago, same filter. This is a 5-stop ND filter. You could use a couple of polarizing filters. You could use a variable ND filter, but they can cause problems at extreme ND levels. So I prefer the fixed ND filters. Variable ND filters, amazing for video though, if that's your thing. So let's put the ND filter on the camera. It literally just screws onto the top. There we go. Just literally attaches on, just like that. My viewfinder is now much darker, but fortunately electronic viewfinders make up for that. So this is the difference. Let's have a look. That's what it looks like with the 5-stop ND. That's what it looked like without. See the difference? It's huge. Fixed it. Okay, so that's the solution. Let less light into your lens by putting a pair of sunglasses on your camera. So now all we need to do is make the key light work as well. And there's a reason I did the key light last, because it's fun. Here we go. I need a bit of assistance from Sophie for this. So I'll take that off. So I'm going to use a flash meter. We could do trial and error. No reason why not. But I've got a flash meter. Links in the video description. Okay. And what I'm going to do is use my flash meter at the same settings. ISO 80. I doubt this will focus. Very, very low. Oh, it does. There we go. ISO 80, 250th of a second, f-stop unknown, and I'm just going to put the ND filter over the top of the little light dome. Okay, that's the technique. However, I then have to press the button on the transmitter to make this flash. I've trained Sophie. Sophie's had extensive training in this. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, little blue button just there. I'll reset that, hold that there, pop that near your chin, go for it. F1.3, I'm taking that. That's close enough for me. Sophie, you're a star. Well done. F1.3. That's within a third of a stop. I'll take that. Okay, right, add a third. Okay, Sophie, here we go. Now my camera is definitely struggling to focus a little bit. Oh, I'll do the dump. Do you know what I didn't do? Didn't do the dump, did I? Didn't do the dump. I knew I'd forget. Oh, children, please.
I have to say the comments were worse, so worse than us.
It's like working with juveniles. Sophie, I thought better of you, honestly. Really did. Okay, there we go. Blue button again. Slightly worried someone's going to cut that out and make that into a reel or something. Okay, here we go. I shouldn't give people ideas. Okay, hit that button for me, Sophie. F0.8, yeah, that makes more sense, doesn't it? Okay, so you're going to press the plus button at least 6 times. I can't do the maths on that one. Okay, that'll do. Let's see what we get. 1.6, so you're going to press the minus button once, then press the blue button to dump the power out, because we're reducing it, and go again. 1.4. 1.4, look at that. It'll eventually, hang on, I'll get Sophie's face out of the way. Wait for it, wait for it. It is worth the wait. There we are. 1.4, spot on. So the way this works is if you are increasing the power of your flash, you do not have to do a dump of the power because you're adding more power to the capacitor inside. If you're decreasing power, you have to do the flash dumping, which is basically just firing the flash. That gets rid of all of the power in the capacitor. I'm probably oversimplifying how these things work. It's probably not even a capacitor, but that's the idea. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so, nice. That kind of works well. That's pretty good. So we're using 2 lights of a 3-light kit. Should we put a 3rd light in? Let's put a 3rd light in. Anyone seen a light stand and a 3rd light? Oh, still in the bag. Still in the bag. And these, whoa, there's the smell of quality plastic about these. Yeah. But what I will say is those bags for these light stands, really, really good. There we go. So let's add in another one. Okay. And we'll put a little separation light in. Light. There we go.
So you've had a question about the lights.
Yes.
Is the flash dumping on these particular lights, is it just for those or is it for all the strobes?
Yeah, no, it's a very good question. It's not for all strobes. So modern strobes, let's call them that, shall we, that use LED, what's the thing on the lithium batteries. Most things that are battery powered use a very different technology. So they use a technology where you don't have to dump the power between increases or decreases, I should say, in flash power. It really is something that is specific for this type of flash. It's not all mains powered flashes either, so it kind of varies. But back in the day, when I first started out with my original lights, that's all right. That's exactly what I had to do. So the memory's in here somewhere. It will come back to me. Okay, let's go with that camera. That's good. Let's run that through there. So again, I'm running it through the bottom. So if you missed this earlier on, this is just as a replacement for a sandbag. Oop, got it stuck. There we go. So sandbag, definitely the first thing I would buy is a set of sandbags. And also, obviously, the first thing I would buy is a reflector. I mean, your first order is going to be quite sizable, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to run this carefully over here. Am I going to run out of cable? No, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. I'll pop that there. So this is partly why I've got Sophie sat down. There is a lot of cables on the floor. We're still live? Fantastic. And I'm not saying that Sophie's clumsy, but someone's going to trip over these cables before too long.
Someone, yeah.
So,
We just remind
you know.
everyone to click the like, because we've got quite a lot of people watching. That would be great if you could.
Have we actually
do
got someone watching?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Seth's watching, yeah.
Blimey. Okay. It's astonishing, isn't it? Okay, so I've just added in the background light. I don't have to do anything to it. It's on its lowest possible power setting. Let's see how we go. Let's go horizontal. And it's just going to throw a little bit of light. Can you see that? Just a tiny bit of light. It's on its lowest possible power. If I wanted any less light, I would need to move the light further away. But I'm kind of happy with that. That works quite well. Okay, my clock's gone off, so I've lost track of the time. 20 minutes to go. Wow. So I've got, well, quite a lot of cables. So I got some extension cables as well. So these are power cables, so I can extend it around. I think the battery died on it, Frey, but thank you for trying. You know how models think you're nuts, and you're worried that the things you ask models to do, they're going to go, well, that guy was crazy. Sophie, see these here power cables? Can you put them over your head? Thank you. It'll look good in the pictures, I'm sure. Yeah, there you go. So we've made a necklace of power cables, and why not? If Seth's watching, oh yeah, I'm stealing your ideas, Seth. Completely. I don't know, he's probably done this. It's the sort of thing Seth would do.
And Seth said, you can't prove I'm watching. maybe he's got his eyes
True.
closed.
Okay, so here we go. Okay, quick test shot. Let's just make sure it works first of all. Okay, so the light on the left-hand side as we're looking at the shot, definitely important. Shallow depth of field, tick, that's working. That looks pretty good, like the lighting on Sophie. I think we need to bring it up here a little closer to your neck. And I'm going to get you to look a little towards the camera, the light on the right. Like that? Light on the right. Yeah, that's it. That looks pretty good. You know, I said just like that. Can you just pull it down a little bit? There you go. Let's spread it out a tiny bit. Awesome. Make it a little less formal. That looks good. I'm going to move the... Do you mind if I just reach in? Okay. I'm just going to move the plug sockets around a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Sound effects. Free of charge. Okay, that's great. Tell you what, you'd pay a lot of money for this on a catwalk. Fantastic. Okay, I'm actually going to undo it for you. Hang on, Sophie. Let's just... Do you mind if I reach in? Okay, I'm going to unplug. There you go. So if I unplug it a little bit, I can give Sophie something to interact with. It's coming around this side. Something for her to work with. Get some movement, some arms involved. Okay, you need to keep them fairly close to your chest though, so... Okay, here we go. Because I don't have a lot of light space in my small home studio left and right, I'm just catching that left and right light. Let's go vertical as well. Okay.
So Richard said, I always appreciate how game Sophie is for these shenanigans. She just owns it.
Just pull that right down the other side.
And Daniel said,
Yeah.
Sophie may be the only one to be able to
Richard?
make electrical cables look good. So true.
There you go. That's it. That's where we want to be. Oop. I'll actually get one of you in focus. Chin down for me. There you go. That's the look we're going with. Hold that. Strong, powerful. One more. Chin down. Boom. Love it. Okay. So cool. It's a random idea. It gives you something to play with. I kind of enjoyed that. That was fun. Right, let's lose that. In fact, Sophie, do you want to just step out a little bit? And I know we've got a jacket. Let's pop the jacket on as well. Because we have 15 minutes to go. What? Let's unplug a few of these. Okay. So we've done shallow depth of field with budget lighting. We've done basic lighting with budget lighting. Let's get the kit out and see if we can do one of my favorite classic lighting with budget lighting, something that I spent a lot more money on back in the day. going to put the cover back on. Not having a reflector makes me super paranoid because the reflector is also a protector for your light. There we go. Okay, if you're just joining us, well done. Thank you for joining us. Not too late. Save the best till last. Hopefully. That does imply the rest was terrible. It's probably not far off. So in the kit, if you're ever buying a softbox, whether it's in a kit, whether you're just buying the softbox on its own, make sure that it comes with a grid. Egg crate grid, just a grid, call it whatever you like. These things are absolutely essential in any studio, but definitely in a small home studio because you need to control the light. They attach via Velcro. And this is where you start to feel the budget aspect of these lighting. This isn't the best grid I've ever used. And by that, I don't mean it's not going to work. It'll work just fine. But what I mean is it's a little bit saggy. It's a sort of grid that you pop on and it's going to be absolutely fine. But I wouldn't want to put a bigger grid on than that. That is about right. Okay. Let's get our light and pop it flush against the wall. That's pretty good. Okay, I'm going to turn the other light off. I only need one light for now, so this is A, B is off. I'll try and move some cables around a little bit so we don't trip Sophie up. Okay, is that out of shot? Pretty much. So that's not on, that's not doing anything at all. What I'm going to ask Sophie to do is come back over here. So she's going to be behind this. You won't see her, but trust me, she's here. Well, she's not actually. Come on, Sophie, in you come. Mind the cables. So Sophie is going to be about that far from the front of the softbox. I'll take a picture and show you. Let's go back to colour. And we'll go back to A. We need to turn the power down. So if I need to turn the power down, what do I need to do to my flash? Very important. What's the process for turning it down when you're using mains powered budget flashes? That's right. Fire the flash, reset the power. That sounds better, doesn't it? We'll go with that. Trip over the box. Oops, there we go. And change lenses.
We thought it was going to be the cables.
Well, I didn't see the box. It was hidden in the corner. Okay, so I'm going to reset my camera to f8. I'm going to reset my ISO to 100. And the flash power is at 1/32 power. And let's see what we get. What I'm looking for is a little bit more power out of the flash. So I can increase the flash power. What's the procedure if you increase your flash power? Nothing, you just increase it. That's absolutely fine. It's only when you think, oh, I've gone a bit too far, and then you need to wind it back, that you have to then reset and go again. Okay, Sophie, here we go. 1/8 power, that's where I want it to be. Could use the flash meter, trial and error works quite well. So that's not too bad. That looks all right. I can see the grid there doing its job very well. I'd like a bit more space. I'd like to see the shape of the light. So let's do it. Here we go. That actually works. That works better than I thought it was going to. I mean, that worked exactly how I thought it would. That's what I meant to say. That's pretty good. I can sort of see a little bit though. I can still see a little bit of grey here. It's not completely black. So we're going to make this a smaller zone of light, a little bit more control by using a special piece of equipment that only comes when you order the BLAZ 300 kit. And then they ship it across the Atlantic. Actually, probably not the last bit. I'm going to use this special light modifier. It's available from, that's the wrong way up, from all good Adorama stores when you order and they ship stuff. Yes, Sam.
So Thomas asked, can you avoid the grid pattern showing up in the catch light?
That is a great question, Thomas. You can't avoid it because it's doing a job. It's really impossible to avoid it. So what we're going to do in the next 10 minutes is embrace it. So no, you can't really avoid, I mean, there's probably ways, use a diffused subject that you're beaming onto.
So I think
that might work.
You may have answered this one just now. Miko asked, do you need to reset the flash power when going down, or can you just take one shot?
Sorry, one of my clips just pinged off. Nico, yes, only going down. You don't have to reset it going up. I mean, you can if you want. I don't know where that went. Oh, there it is. Sorry, part of my A-clamp fell apart. Because we're live. So, here we go. Here it is. The strip box that came with the kit that you didn't know about. Yes, the BLAZ kit comes with a strip box. Look at it, it's a little tiny 2 foot by about 8-inch strip box. Yeah, okay, it is a piece of cardboard on the light, but it works.
Actually, they're coining a phrase for us here. So we've got the Sussex reflector, or perhaps the Sussex flag.
The Sussex flag, yes. Okay, let's pop it there. So I want that bit to be right in front of Sophie. Let's... hang on a second, tighten up the softbox. It's all getting a little more weighty. Tighten up the light stand. Okay, how's that? Right in front of you? Good. Let's get it in super close. If Sophie says ouch, just back it up a touch. That's the kind of the position we want to go for. Okay, so it's sort of in front of Sophie. Here we go. It's going to make for a much smaller circle of light, and of course a much darker circle of light. So we were at 1/8 power. I can go to 1/2 power, and I don't have to worry about resetting the flash power because I'm putting more power into that capacitor. It just goes, okay, here we go. Oh, you can hear the difference. Could you feel that one? Yeah. Okay, that looks pretty good. We've got a little bit of light spilling onto there. We're going to deal with that in a second. I'm also going to feather it slightly. Here we go. That's it. Let's see where we go. Hang on, Sophie. Hang on. We're gonna make this work. I'm not going to give in until it's done. We're all staying here until this works. Nobody is allowed to leave. Okay, taking it down a stop. That's better. Yeah, it's pretty good. So Sophie, you're going to have to look pretty much dead straight ahead, which isn't much fun when you're asking somebody to look straight into a light. But I'm going to go really wide. We'll take a couple of shots like this. Okay, that's great. Sophie can't move much because if she steps any closer, moves any closer, she's so close, the inverse square law is going to catch us out. Awesome. Last one, I'm going to come right down the side. Okay, cool. And we are going to do the world's fastest Photoshop on that image. Let's go find it. Okay, here it is. Here's the image. Just want to check my levels and make sure I've got a true black in there. So we'll just tweak the blacks a little bit. And then these areas here, these are all the light bits and pieces where I didn't quite clip it on properly. We'll just get a brush, make sure it's black in color. And because everything else is black, hey presto, look at that. Did I say hey presto?
Yes, better than handy dandy.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Okay, and if you want to go even bigger, you can just grab the crop tool, and provided you really made everything black, you can, of course, make these for a very cinematic, widescreen look. Okay, look at that. Smart. Whoop, don't want the side panel window. Easy. Okay, so that uses the grids and the optional strip box attachment. There we go. And it lasts forever, that'll last you years. Okay, we've got one more to do and 5 minutes to do it. We can do this. We got this. So, Sophie, do you want to just step out a little bit and I'll adjust the lights. So I'm going to make these two lights the same height and size. Let's grab this one. Spin it around. I'm going to find the grid for this one, which I put somewhere. I threw it in the corner, yeah. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I throw this stuff around so you don't have to, because it survives. Okay, let's pop that up there. I'm just using the wall to get my lights flat and flush because I don't want them angled for the last picture. I want them to be the same height, more or less, and also flat, square on. Now Sophie's a little bit taller than me, not a lot. So maybe we'll put it up quite a bit higher. There we go. I reckon that's Sophie's height. Okay, so that's light number 1. And light number 2. So I'm going to put these next to each other. I'm going to make a little sort of V shape out of them, like that. I'll plug the actual light back in because I unplugged it.
So we've had somebody ask when your next live is.
You know that, I don't.
Yeah, I don't. Just so it's Mateus. It's the 18th of May is our next live. If you'd care to join us then, which is how many weeks away?
I would imagine 4.
4, yeah.
They're usually 4, except this one was 3 for some reason. But there we go. Right, okay, so I don't know which camera I'm on. Am I on that one? Hello, up there, that camera, yes. So Sophie's going to be here, surrounded by these. Come on, Sophie, in you come. Smash in. Do you want to just look at me? We'll do it wrong before, because you're instantly going to do it right. Okay, they're on 2 different groups, so I can control them individually. I'm just going to put them all to 1/8 power. Let's try that. That's A and B to 1/8 power. And just so you can see what I'm doing, can we just have this camera back just temporarily? Okay, so there we go. So this is my control. I've got little plus and minus buttons here. This is the button, oh, it's very hard to do that, fires or tests the lights, and then I've got control of the individual groups down there. Very, very simple system. Very effective. Okay, Sophie, here we go. Okay, so if Sophie looks straight at me, don't look at this one. There we go. Then the light looks good, but obviously we can't see any of Sophie's face. But you can get an idea for how this is going to work. And the fix for this, really simple. Sophie, just turn to the side for me. Thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to be a little bit taller. Okay. And Sophie just turns to the side. Bingo. It works really well. I need to work out which is my A and B. This is A. So the one Sophie is looking into is light A, so I can increase the power of that. Let's take that up to 1/4 power. I'm still at f8, ISO 100, 250th of a second my flash sync speed. Pretty good, but we can make this better. And my improvement is going to be change the colour. I've got a custom white balance of 5600 standard daylight or flash. I'm going to dial in a custom white balance of 3600, which is normally sort of tungsten colour.
So Matt made a very good point that if you click on the bell icon, you'll get a notification 30 minutes before we go live. So,
always useful to know.
Yeah, go and do that, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Quick tip, if you want to take all of your lights up in one go, take your ISO up from 100 to 200. That will double the power. 1 stop more light, and I can just add a bunch more light into that. Might be a little bit too bright actually. Maybe I was right the first time. But you've got to try these things. I think what it needs is a prop. So Sophie, I'm going to give you a pair of sunglasses because we haven't done sunglasses for absolutely ages.
Because we haven't had any sun.
Probably true. Okay, so I've given Sophie some sunglasses. So earlier somebody said about can you get rid of the shape in the highlights of the grid. No, but you can embrace it. Okay? So these are gold or red coloured mirrored lenses. We've got a blue white balance, so it helps to separate Sophie out from that. She's got a leather jacket on, which is nice and shiny and reflective. Fits in with the the whole look and feel of it. I'm going to move my feet because lead feet syndrome is one of the worst things you can get, and no lighting kit, not even one from Flashpoint, can remind you to move your feet. Just look a little to your right for me. That's it. Okay. And I haven't done the most important picture, so let's do a couple of those, which is this picture. Oh my goodness, it's dark in here. Okay, behind the scenes, whether it's in focus or not, it's very important you get a behind the scenes so you know what you're doing. Okay, that's great. We can do a wide picture and then we can Photoshop those out better later. We can do close-ups. Oh, this is so much fun. Okay, so if you face me around this way as well, let's move you around a little bit. Yes, it's just we're going to mix it up left and right.
Yeah, Brad said he loves how the white balance is cool and the glasses are warm. Great contrast.
Oh, Brad, it's like we almost thought about this in advance. I mean, we don't often think about things in advance. Let's go the other way, Sophie. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're out of time. Okay, so if you've got any questions, now your last chance. And if you haven't clicked on the subscribe button and the bell icon, what have you been doing for the last hour? Go click on that and the like button. Really appreciate it.
What's the lens you're using?
Okay, let's stop there. Awesome. That looks so good. Okay, the lens I'm using an Olympus OM1 camera. And my lens is, well, this is an Olympus, or I should say OM system, OM1. OM system 12 to 40, or an Olympus 12 to 40 f2.8 lens. Links are in the video description to all of this stuff on Adorama, of course. Whoa, well, there we go. That, I think, is time. From a bit of a rocky start, you don't want to know. We actually got that together very well, so thank you very much, Sophie. Give Sophie a huge round of applause. Woo! Fantastic. So, a few thank yous. Thank you very much to Freya on the Super Switcher. Sam in the comments. And you guys in the comments, because we literally couldn't do this without you lot. It really
literally
is.
Couldn't.
Literally.
And thank you to everyone that answered all the other questions and had little chats and everything. I see you all, and thank you very much for joining in. It's been great.
Fantastic. Right, okay, well, that leaves me to say thanks very much for watching. I'm Gavin, oh, I've done it again, haven't I? Damn it, I always get the outro wrong. I'm Gavin Hoey, thanks for watching.